Diseases like the measles and polio might be rare in the United States, but they still exist in other parts of the world. And at one point, everyone will have the decision to vaccinate their child or maybe help a friend decide whether they want to or not. As someone in the student field of nursing, I've seen the benefits and importance of getting the vaccinations. Today I'm going to persuade you to vaccinate yourself as well as your children. First, I'm going to tell you about the risks associated with not vaccinating your children. Then I will tell you about free vaccination clinics. And third, I will describe the severity of these vaccine-preventable diseases. First, I'm going to tell you about the risks associated with not vaccinating children. If there were vaccination requirements, there would be less of an outbreak. In these recent years, there's been many outbreaks of these vaccine-preventable diseases, such as measles. And by requiring all students, besides those who are, immunocompromised or too young to get them, we can really reduce the risks of outbreaks in the schools and community. We can decrease the number of cases per year of these preventable diseases as well. And even though, in the United States, there's not as many outbreaks as there are, worldwide, as soon as one person who is not vaccinated goes outside of the country, they are at risk for catching it over there and bringing it back and causing the outbreak. And by not getting vaccinated, you're not only endangering yourself to these diseases, but you're also endangering those who can't get the vaccine yet, whether it's because they're too young or if they're immunocompromised, because those who are immunocompromised, as well as those who are too young, their immune system hasn't built up yet to where it's strong enough to fight even just the dead virus that they insert in the injection. Also, they are exposed to the disease from others who might be able to fight it. So, if a kid has an older brother and the parent decides not to vaccinate and the brother goes to school and gets the measles, he can come home and bring it to his 12-month-old baby, and it can be detrimental for the baby's immune system and possibly cause death. Okay, so now that I've told you a few of the risks associated with not vaccinating children, I'm now going to tell you about free vaccination clinics. There are, of course, some free vaccination clinics, but, they're not really talked about, and a lot of times what they give is the flu shot. However, I think there needs to be a, government-funded funded plan where all immunizations are given to the child completely free of charge. And once a year it comes to either every public school or somewhere in the community to where everybody can come, and those who can't afford it, it doesn't matter because it's free, and they'll do vaccines from the flu to MMR, Tdap, DTaP, varicella, all of those. And I feel like this will just help those whose parents maybe don't have transportation to get to a doctor, those who don't have the money, because when you get all the shots at once, if your insurance does not pay, it can be very, very expensive. However, there would be a lot of political things against this due to the fact that, in some religions, vaccinations contraindicate with their beliefs. They can't get vaccinations because of what's in them, because their body needs to build up and be strong enough to fight it. And also, some parents believe that there are risks such as autism when getting vaccines, which at this point in time, there is no information or scientific study that has proven that true. And then vaccines are also commonly tested on animals, so lab animals, which is against some people's beliefs due to animal cruelty and other aspects like that. And so now that I've told you about the risk associated with not vaccinating children in free vaccination clinics, I'm going to inform you about the severity of these vaccine-preventable diseases. The first one I'm going to talk about is measles. And all of these are just real brief. And so, like, measles is the most contagious disease, and outbreaks occur super easily. And you get like a rash that covers your body, and it can cause complications. And the three, like, major complications it can cause are hepatitis, meningitis, and encephalitis, which those are like really bad. One is like an infection in the liver, and one is an infection in the meninges, and then an infection in the brain type aspect. And so it can be very severe. And then the second one is varicella, which chicken pox. And so it's the blister like rash, and it's real itchy. It makes them tired and fever. And it puts the patient at risk for shingles, which shingles can be a lifelong disease that is super painful. Um, and so by getting the vaccine, you not only prevent yourself from getting chickenpox, you're also preventing yourself from getting the shingles. Um, and if the reason you don't want to get vaccinated is because you hate shots, well, if you get shingles, you get to get shots in your hand all the time or wherever the shingle outbreak is. And then the last one is pertussis. And pertussis is whooping cough. And so it's this real nasty, cruddy cough. And some of the things that can happen due to this are pneumonia, pulmonary hypertension, ear infections, seizures, weight loss, dehydration, and injuries caused by coughing. And the coughing is so bad that people have cracked their ribs and had hernias from the coughing. So in this speech, I talked about the risk associated with not vaccinating children, free clinics, and the severity of these vaccine-preventable diseases. Today, you should get vaccinated and protect yourself and your family against these vaccine-preventable diseases. Diseases like measles and polio might be rare in the United States, but they still exist in other parts of the world. So keeping everyone vaccinated can keep outbreaks at a minimum.